transition that, like, what ultimately led you to pull the trigger on quitting your job and moving and like dedicating, your full-time adventure to this?
This is a tough answer, but and again, I'm like, no questions here are off limits. I'll try to be a pretty open book here, and I think I think a lot of my viewers value that. But it was the death of my sister, actually. So initially, I was going to go down to part-time at my job, and then when she passed away, I didn't work for like 2 weeks, like at all, for a week, maybe 2 weeks. And then I sort of started getting on meetings to help transition projects over, because it was sort of assumed I would come back part-time and maybe take on some other projects. But what I was working on was definitely like full-time work. Mm-hmm. And my manager was, he gave me some tasks to do. And I was like, yeah, I can do those. And then it would like a week would go by, and he's like, hey, do you get started on these? And I was like, no, man, I didn't. Like, I opened up the computer once and said, fuck this. I'm not doing this. And he said, hey man, I want to help you get back on the saddle if that's what you want. That was verbatim his message. And when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, no, I don't want this. And I'd known that this point would come for a while. And so, when I first started on a software engineer's salary, I was spending, a bit crazily. I wasn't like prioritizing savings. Mm-hmm. That was late spring or, early summer. And then, I started sort of saving as much as I could in my paycheck. And that was the moment that I was like, all right, now's the time. I have like $12,000 in my savings account, and I'm either going to float on this until I get sponsors and I'm a professional, or I'm going to go home and live with my parents. And that's what I told my parents too. And they were like, I was like, you're not going to leave me on the street, and this is what I'm doing. Like, you can not like it, but you have to respect it. And they were like, fuck, all right, well, I hope we don't see you at home. I hope it works out. But like, we don't agree with this. You should keep your job, but you got to do you. And I was like, this is what I'm doing. And I just, there was no amount of money that could get me to open up that computer and, start coding, when I would rather be, out biking all day or running or swimming.
For sure.
And so,
I have a ton of questions on that, but I'm curious. So are you at a point right now where, like, are you constantly like anxious about like, am I going to have enough money to, like, coming in from YouTube or wherever else to like make it another month? Like, does that in the back of your mind, does that bother you, or is that still like less stressful than, having to work an actual corporate job? Like, how do you play those?
I have those thoughts every single day, doing the calculations of how many more months I can make it. But it is not a source of anxiety at all, because, this is a decision that I made. And the worst case scenario is not so bad. Again, worst case scenario, if I run out of money tomorrow, I move back to Connecticut in my parents' house, and I still have a YouTube with over 10,000 subscribers now. Mm-hmm. I can still make videos, and I can, I guess, get another software engineering job if I need to. That is worst case scenario, honestly. Yeah. But again, the scenario where I run out of money is not like this life-threatening thing to me, so I'm not scared of it, and I'm just trying to like live every day, trying to be a YouTuber, trying to bring in money, so I do think about what are my expenses going to be this month and what's my cash flow going to be like, but it's not a source of anxiety because I'm spending as little as I can, so I'm sort of controlling what I can control there, and so whatever comes in and the number of months or years that I end up stretching that are what they are. So I guess it's just controlling what I can control, which is something people say in running a lot, in racing and training, and just in life in general is just control what you can control, and that's what I'm doing. So I have just about no anxiety about how long am I going to make this last.
That's especially, you know, now we're talking, you mentioned Nick Symmonds, like the YouTube social media thing. One thing, you know, I'm not just saying this to like suck up to you because you're on the podcast, but one thing that I really like about your approach to how you're putting together YouTube videos is because it is so like raw and actually like showing the true like emotions. And I think a big complaint about social media in general is people always put forth their best self and always make things look like they're all hunky-dory, even though they might not be. And what I like about your approach is that you're showing the struggles. And you know, you openly talked about your sister. You openly like talked about your issues in Austin, like being homeless for a few nights, like all these pieces. And it's like you're showing the hardship as well, which is very unique. And also on top of that, I mean, you're putting your own music into the videos, like all these other pieces. Like the videos themselves are like really well crafted. But just I wanted to like say that praise first of all, and then adding on to that, then the nights in Austin, like that's a crazy story. Can you explain like how much of that? Be honest, how much of that was like, okay, it would be epic if I was like homeless versus you could have like probably bought a hotel and afforded a hotel, right? So like how much of it was, you know, part of like truly living that experience.
So I could have bought a hotel maybe, but one that costs money, which, you know, I was talking about before.
Yep.
I'm trying to stretch what I have as long as I possibly can, and because of the car crash, I have a $500 deductible with my insurance. I had to pay a $250 moving violation because the crash was my fault. And I still don't have my car. It is, I'm in the process of getting it shipped from Austin, which cost almost $1,000. And again, these are just like massive hits to my you know, again, I started with 12 and stimulus is hitting, I'm not going to lie. Definitely that helps. And the tax refunds have really been helping. But yeah, so like however much, $100 a night or whatever it was to get a hotel, which one would only cover my sleeping. Mm-hmm. Whereas the sleeping in a hammock was actually not that bad. It's warm in Texas. I had my sleeping bag. I really like sleeping in a hammock. It was more so the day to day of like, where am I going to cook? We would just like basically camp out at patios, like coffee shops all day, you know, charge our laptops, make videos, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, so none of that was like, oh, this would be epic to put on YouTube. But as it was unfolding, I was like, okay, well, I have to put this on YouTube. Yeah. Like I filmed as I crashed my car and it was getting towed. I was like, all right, I cannot believe what just happened. But I need to like document it. I need to tell everyone. Because I really see my channel as like, hopefully one day I am, you know, some world champion, whatever, triathlon. And then you can go back and you can see the progression of me being an injured runner to switching to triathlon and through all these struggles, like the death of my sister. But honestly, like I was on the phone with my parents, and again, I think some people think that, you know, it might just be like a let's run thing, but like, that my parents are supporting all this. Like they haven't given me a dime, and I will never ask them for a dime. Because in my mind, if I ask my parents for money and they give me money, that's like me failing. I didn't do it on my own. Mm-hmm. And again, I don't come from a family that can just like support me following my dreams. I do have to do it myself. And I was, you know, my parents were like, man, you know, you lost your sister, you crashed your car, you're, you know, going from, you know, you have to worry about your dog and just moving your life all across, like you're having a tough time. And I was like, yeah, but in a way, I hope this is not rock bottom, because the worse it gets, the better the story gets. It's like, I wonder how much worse it can get. And I had this like totally positive attitude throughout the entire thing. I was like, I don't know how this is going to work out well, but it's just going to work out well somehow. Yeah. And I was just trying to take it day by day. And the other thing, I have one pair of shorts. So since I crashed my car, I have worn the same pair of shorts, you know, and I'll wash them. I'll wear running shorts for a bit while they're in the wash. But they're not like shit shorts. They're, you know, it's J. Crew. They accentuate my ass. They accentuate my ass really well. But yeah, I have one pair of shorts, and that's what I wear every single day. And I only have 2 of my soccer jerseys, which is, it's unfortunate. So like I'll basically switch off wearing them. But I mean, I guess, yeah, thank you for saying that about the channel, but that is my entire sort of perspective of like, I need to tell people what's actually going on. Cause I would watch YouTubers and like, I felt that was missing. And so one thing I was saying to Johnny is like, man, you need to film me more. Like, why don't you just film everything? He's like, well, I'm afraid if I am always breaking out the camera that our interactions will become too inauthentic. And I was like, dude, I don't change anything when there's a camera there. I just talk to the person behind the camera.
Would happen.
Yeah.
Like you're just getting like all the unfiltered shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I don't change what I say at all when I'm on camera. And it's funny. I'll get DMs where people are like, I love your channel. It's so refreshing. Like, it's almost backhanded because people are like, yeah, you always see the pro runners, everything, they have everything figured out for them. All they have to do is train. It's nice to see someone struggle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's like a weird thing to say, but
all comes back to the struggle.
It's true because it's more relatable. It's like everyone goes through struggle. So it's not as much fun to just see this person who like gets 2 massages a day and all these free like, that's not like, of course they're going to run fast if that's your full-time thing and you don't have to worry about all these other issues. So I definitely understand where that's coming from.